as we need to be. So this is the emergency preparedness meeting. Okay, everybody turn on the microphone. And today I'm November the 10th, 2025. Thank you for coming. Okay, so would appreciate it, Gina. Would you please do a roll call by name? I appreciate it.
Sure. Wolf Ibis? Here. Andrika? Here. Short? Here. Key?
Here.
And Nick Collins is absent.
Yes, and Randy Collins is excused today. Thank you. Okay, so item number 2 is our consent agenda. We do have a change in our agenda. Michael Dane was coming and he is ill and cannot make it, but he has Michael Tomlinson, who is going to be taking his place. And on the agenda, we said Michael Dane Emergency Operations Center radio training with emergency barrel holders. And so, Michael, I think you wanted to talk a little bit about the Great Shakeout and how that went. And would you like to come here and sit at the chair? And if you could sign in, hi Ken, if you could sign in, that would be terrific.
Okay, the Oxy.
And that way you can be recorded on the microphone.
Gotcha.
Next on the agenda is the minute approving.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead and have a seat. So we also have minutes to approve, I'm sorry. Did everyone have a chance to read the minutes and any questions about them?
I move that we accept the minutes of August 11, 2025 as is submitted.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, great, thank you. So all in favor, raise your hand for approval. Thank you. It stands, I appreciate that. And so, Michael, thank you for coming. We at least didn't have to change the name since we have another Michael, thank you, at the last minute. So, so for those that don't know what the Great Shakeout was, that's something that happens every October. And this was it's a statewide venture and countywide venture, and then we just kind of like parcel it out to Depoe Bay and its adjoining areas. And so if you could explain a little bit how it went and what you liked about it and what we maybe need to improve on, if anything.
Okay. Is my microphone on?
Do you have a button in front of you?
I
Just
do.
push it down until it turns green.
Gotta hold it down.
Hold it down.
It does seem to be working.
All right, there you go, thank you.
Very good. Okay, as you know, I had to give you some handouts.
Uh-huh,
And the first one is actually kind of a little after-action report that was prepared by the chair of our safety committee, Ann Bradley, who is not here today.
uh-huh.
I need to get closer.
I'll get closer to you.
Okay. Thank you. So anyway, I'm not going to read it or anything else, everyone else can read, but I will give you just kind of an overview of how things went. We tried several things during the shakeout. Key during a major earthquake, of course, and actually other emergencies is communications. And you need to have contingencies. So this one was a little different in that in Little Whale Cove, we have what we call Comm Center, which is our crow's nest up in the rec center. And in the event that there was a major earthquake, say magnitude 9, Ogami's double extra large, I'd say there's probably a pretty good chance it may not be standing.
Right.
So we started off with the exercise with me sitting in my car in the driveway, and actually in my driveway with a radio. And I started off the exercise, the idea being that nobody during a quake or even during the tsunami period wants to cross those ravines in Little Whale Cove, because of course the tsunami would concentrate in the ravine. So anyway, we tried the mobile station first, and it worked fairly well. And then Don, who's sitting behind me, was in the crow nest. Good news, it survived the double extra large earthquake. We were delighted. And Don then took over. I passed control, what's called net control. I passed it off to him, and he pulled all of our residents and also people outside of Little Whale Cove, because we discovered from the crow's nest we can actually talk to people elsewhere in Depoe Bay, not just Little Whale Cove. And then kind of sort of the real icing on the cake is then Don passed control back to me.
Right.
And I was able to contact and speak with Michael Dane, and that's crucial. Regardless of which net control is operational, we need to be able to connect with Michael. And we do it with GMRS radios, and maybe I see everybody brought their radios today. So I will go through some of this a little bit. I don't know exactly how much time you've allotted.
I didn't have a huge agenda, it looks like it, but it's basically just to update people and things, so take as much time as you need, yeah.
So probably ought to break out some midnight snacks.
I think so, we'll get a pizza coming in.
Okay.
So basically, how you turn it on, and what is GMRS, what does that mean?
Well, first of all, we encourage our residents to get one of two types of radios. And maybe it's good to go through. Let's explain the radios, and then I'll go through how the exercise worked. All right, so if you go almost to the middle here, we're encouraging all of our residents to have radios. And at the very least, a radio like this.
Yes.
This is an FRS radio, it's Family Radio Service. It only puts out 2 watts when you're transmitting, which is, who cares? I mean, what we really want our people to do is to be able to hear us.
You have to listen.
Yes, and we have established that it works, from the crow's nest especially, and actually even from my driveway it works. And a simple FRS radio does not require a license. Anybody can have them, you can have as many as you want. And you turn them on. This one's a little different, and some of you, I don't know what types of radios you have. Most of them Baofengs, and they have turn knobs. You'll find even simpler versions of the FRS radio that don't even have a knob, it's just a button you push to turn it on. And we try to encourage our residents to have the channel 15, which is our primary channel. Now, it wouldn't be of much, you might hear us, but that would be what we use internally to communicate. So that's an FRS radio. Everybody, matter of fact, we feel so strongly that we've actually started giving new residents as they move in. We now give is a relative term. They get 2 new FRS radios. All right, and then we have, and if you go to, unfortunately I don't have page numbers on this, but we have divided Little Whale Cove, actually it's on the very back.
Right here? Okay.
Yes, Little Whale Cove is divided into 15 safety areas. And in a perfect world, every safety area would have a safety captain. In this case, we don't. We still have some openings, people move or leave the planet, one or the other. But we're not always full, but we try to have safety captains. That leads us to this radio. This one's a little different. This is a GMRS. GMRS stands for General Mobile Radio Service. And for a true GMRS radio, you do need a license.
Right.
Now, I will warn you, sometimes you'll see a radio like this and they'll say it's a GMRS radio. It isn't, but it can listen to GMRS channels and you can talk on it, but only at 2 watts. A true GMRS certified radio, which does require a license, transmits at 5 watts. That's the limitation for a handheld radio. But the license, it's not a big deal. The license costs you $35. It covers everybody in your house. And it lasts for 10 years. And bonus, there's no test. It's not like a ham license. You just pay the FCC and they will give you a call sign. And you'll use that call sign. You're required by law when you sign on to give your call sign. Mine's Whiskey Quebec X-Ray Mike 262. And everybody will have one of those. It sounds really cool when you're talking on the radio. But more importantly, it allows you to transmit at 5 watts. We encourage our safety captains to carry one of these because they are more powerful. And we can receive them anywhere. And in fact, you probably can even hear us, matter of fact, I know you can. We've had, Michael and I have communicated when I'm sitting in my house. So it's a very good radio for that sort of thing. It's just that it requires a license. So something to keep in mind. And I'll get to that under the mesh tasking.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, so anyway, going through the packet, using equipment like this and 2 mobile radios. Now mobile, they can actually go up to 50 watts, ours aren't. The one up in our comm center is 20 watts and the one in my car is 15. And when they're sitting there, they're base stations. You can have more power. And Don found he had very good coverage with just about everybody, I believe. Well, actually, the second sheet, this table here, actually indicates what we did. I sanitized it. I removed almost everybody's name except those people you know. But so you see Ann Bradley and Bill Albright,
Yes.
my partners in crime. And then I left the 2 others on the committee on here as well. But what you can see here is readability. And the first set of letters, LC, means that they heard Bill loud and clear from the comm center. This one was a little different because then I added a stroke and added a numeric code saying how well I heard them from the mobile unit. Not how they heard me, but how I heard them. And all in all, it wasn't too bad. Joyce, I had a hard time with you.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I have, if you go down here near the bottom other Depoe Bay residents, Deb, I heard loud and clear.
Yeah.
Without any problem at all. But so anyway.
Well, I was out in my driveway, so that surprises me.
Yeah, and it's hard to say. Sometimes it's the antenna. These things also come with a much taller whip antenna. And not like that.
Now, this is my phone.
Okay, so I'm not quite sure.
Can I get a larger antenna?
Not too much larger because.
Well, maybe I'm not speaking up. Maybe.
You hold it like right in front of you. You
Well,
must hold
I
it
talk to the
vertically.
side like that.
Yeah, okay, that should work. But then I have seen people turn their radio and point it in the direction they want to go. It's like, no, the antenna works very good.
Well, I have a soft voice and maybe it's just that I'm not speaking up too.
Yeah. I can be heard all over people without a radio, so it's not a problem. So anyway, that was the purpose of the log sheet. It's an event log. In an actual event, we would also fill out this log. One of the first things we do, even if it's a power outage, is we conduct a radio poll. Who's out there, who's receiving, and then we start saying, okay, now every hour, on the hour, we will broadcast whatever information we have. So that's that, again, the safety area. This is the area, this next form, I actually confirmed this with Jenny Damaris when she was still at Lincoln County.
Is the rapid needs assessment?
Yes, the rapid needs assessment form. That is what our safety captains or someone that's willing to fill in for our safety captain would walk around the neighborhood to collect information, but only after it's safe. Safety captains are not first responders. If they find somebody in trouble and they can get some help to them, great, but I mean, their job is not to put themselves at risk. But this form is a data collection form. It's used by us on the ground. The second form, oh, by the way, I should say, this came out of the Cascadia Rising 22 exercise. And the form itself seems to work. Michael Dane and I spoke today, and he's familiar with the forms and stuff like that. But more importantly, the second one I really never paid much attention to because I'm the boots on the ground. I want just a data collection form, but then we need to pass it off to net control. So for example, I'm down in safety area 13, Don's up in the comm center, and I will tell him what I've got, and he will have somebody that transcribes the information I'm sending to him. Usually it's just little tick marks. And this form, I really didn't pay much attention to. It's called the iSnap. But I asked Michael if he was familiar with it, and yes, he's very familiar with the iSnap, and in fact, I believe he had something to do with designing it. That's the form that we'd send the information to him, and then he would pass that information down to Newport, as he put it, if it's still standing. So we'd send it, or as he said, even if Newport wasn't responding for whatever reason, he would send it directly to the Office of Emergency Management. So that would be his role. We pass the information off to Michael. Michael sends it to whoever he can get a hold of. So that's the iSnap form. And you can see there's a lot of information, and I'm not even going to cover it.
Yeah.
And then what we're trying to do, this is marketing, sales, I don't know. We put out little flyers or signs for our residents, and we encourage them, and now we're practically telling them to get a radio. We show them a whole batch. I mean, there's a whole string of them. This one here, as I said right now, is very nice, but it's a little more complicated. I actually you can program it by pushing little buttons, but it's a real pain. I use software that's freely available called Chirp, and I can actually program this radio, and it looks like a spreadsheet. You upload it to the radio, and presto, you're done. So it's very nice. So Chirp, C-H-I-R-P, freely available on the internet. But we encourage all of our residents to at least have an FRS radio so that they can hear us, turn it on. So that's what the purpose of this is. Like it says, when all else fails, the radios are still there.
Yeah.
And the other thing we also try to do, kind of late, we encourage them to participate with limited success in monthly radio polls. And that, the little sign there is, okay, now you got a radio, now what do you do with it? And we try to get them, we make sure they understand people, and that includes me. I'm not real comfortable talking on a radio, but if they will just turn on the radio and listen, they're well on their way. So that we consider that a major accomplishment. Unfortunately, we don't know if they're actually listening when we do a radio poll, but that's the purpose of the radio poll. Is one, to get familiar with your radio. Two, make sure it's working, batteries are charged, stuff like that. And three, you know how to operate it. It's pretty simple, but when you're first being exposed to any sort of a communication radio, it's kind of unusual. And we also provide people with one-page instructions, because the manuals are cumbersome, and we just distill it down to what they need to know to turn on their radio, change batteries, and change channels as necessary. So.
Well, this is awesome because you give someone a radio and just say, here's your radio, and then you don't really explain anything. So this is wonderful. I love it.
And actually, Ann has done a follow-up. She just sent the email yesterday, matter of fact, and she said, she asked that the staff send her the names of the new people that have radios, and then she or one of us will contact them and say, okay, you've got your radio. Do you have any questions? And of course, we'll try to sell them on. Do it, participate in the poll. Don't talk, just turn it on, make sure it works, So that's that, and of course it shows, we also, another little push, trying to get people to be safety captains.
Yeah.
And we make sure that they understand that they are, they're not first responders. We really try to drive that point home that their job is to communicate and to educate. People say, well, what should be in my go bag? And it's like everything. Of course, we try to be a little more explicit when we give them those instructions, but there's a lot of stuff. And especially when we're talking about a double extra large earthquake with associated tsunami, people are going to need to have supplies for quite a long time, and that includes water. There are a number of us that have 55-gallon drums, potable water drums in our garages. And that's just for water, so. And then there are filtration devices that are handy to have on around as well. I think that's pretty much it, other than how it all fit into the exercise. It worked. We were pretty pleased with communications back and forth. Not everything worked, but we did, we got some good responses from people. And we've established that the system does work. And then I don't actually have any handout yet on mesh tasking.
Excuse me, what you provided for our committee is wonderful. So, our barrel holders, what questions do you have about the radios that we've given you?
So can I kind of preface in? So what our barrel host is, so we went to channel 7. I did a radio check, we had 100% participation. And then we all went to change to channel 15 to then hear, so that our radio check did not conflict with all the radio checks that were actually going on at Little Well Cove. So then we could then go and listen to, and from what I've been told, we all could hear what was happening on channel 15. The radios that are provided, that Radio America put in, are GMRS, but they're very low frequency. And so one of the things I think people are here, people that are interested in upgrading personally the radio, something the city is doing, because we did provide the radio that's in there, it says it's a GMRS, it doesn't say FRS. However, it is it's much more for group communication, as you described. And Michael pointed out to us before that anybody that's really interested in monitoring communication on channel 15, beyond what we do as a group, would possibly want to upgrade. And that's one reason why some people brought what they and have other radio experience. So I wanted to give you guys that kind of foundation before then you did that. We're as a group, I'm proud to say we're pretty savvy. It was never an expectation of the barrel host to be a communication network. That was not, that's a whole other thing. When you're recruiting people to be a part of emergency preparedness, the city just wanted to be sure that we had something out there that was ready available to folks that were already prepared, so that then they could extend that being prepared to others, whether it be visitors or whoever's made their way to their driveway or to their community. And so that's how, after a lot of research by Joyce King, that's how our barrel program, which we're really proud of actually. And Lincoln City is really interested in wanting to do something because it has become a much more accessible program. Caches are a whole other thing, and at least this doesn't require. So we're excited about the program. Then, in the barrel is this radio. So as a group, we talked about that, and we wanted to see if that would, well, it looks like there are 8 of us right now that are hosts. It looks like all 8 of us are interested in expanding and becoming also a communication hub for the EOC, for Michael Dane or whoever that is. Which means that some of us are going to upgrade our radios on our own if we haven't already. And that's one reason why some of us are here, not only listen to what we were all a part of successfully, and I think we were really glad for that. We now have information that, well, gee, if any of us are interested in upgrading, we feel like this room has some folks that could give us some guidance in that way. Is that kind of summarize why we're?
Yeah, we brought the little one
that comes with, right.
and
I actually use these that we already had that
Right,
are a
which are
little
much better.
We were
somewhat
checking to
upgraded.
see what the difference was. They are better than this.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, just turning it on, it's like you turn a knob where that one you gotta figure
Yeah,
out
it's
which
just a
button
thing,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
And I wouldn't mind paying the extra and upgrading to the licensed radio if I just knew which model and which one
which
to
is
buy.
why, that's great to be. So I actually found fun, I know you can do it for $66 with this with this and an extra stay, I looked before I came through Balcom, with an extended, it's a lot of what's, the issue with those is the size of your antenna.
Correct.
And so what's really nice is Michael Dane told us up at View of the Bay that whatever you do, you wanna be able to be able to exchange the antenna. If you actually wanna go for distance and actually wanna be communicating. So I guess what I'm offering here is that our emergency barrel hosts look like they are ready to, some of us are ready to expand into a communications network for the city, which is great for the city to know.
Well, that
Analogous
was
to
one
the
thing.
safety.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That was one thing that Michael Dane said to me, that he was hoping that we could discuss that, so that's good.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll definitely can have, well, I guess we don't need to do it all public, but let's hang for a second and maybe Mr. Thompson too, we can talk about the next stage radio, because that's a specific question. Anybody else here that's a host want to have a specific radio question upgrade?
Well, I got a question on this,
So
if
you have on
somebody
your-
could tell
on
me
your
if
Noah?
it's actually working or not, because I rarely hear it beep or come on for any kind of.
Comes on
radio.
every Wednesday at 11 o'clock.
That's the only time I hear it.
Okay, and we're not home on Wednesdays at 11 o'clock.
Scares you like crazy.
That would explain a lot.
Okay.
Right there.
You have to stay home on Wednesday to listen to
To
it.
have that, no. So,
That was good information.
okay, so I did hear it over the line. So it did come on when we had high seas. It did broadcast alerts in the last storm.
Interesting, because see, we don't get it down there at sea level.
Oh, that's interesting. I can hear them up
Our
where I am.
reception is terrible.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah,
I'll
so
just
that-
hear a beep when I go to the back of the house sometimes, I don't
Yeah.
hear this big alert or
Can
anything.
we clarify, what is it? What is
It was-
it?
No, it's the
What is
weather
this
NOAA,
noise?
it's
It's
the
NOAA.
weather NOAA radio that's supposed to
That's
go
what yours
off
looks
and
like.
then alert,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
It's an alert, it's called an alert radio,
okay.
but like I say, you need good radio
You
coverage.
need radio coverage, and I'm up,
Oh,
I
okay.
have elevation. So
Okay.
I will let, since you're interested in NOAA, this one picks up NOAA, so when we talk.
Oh,
about
nice.
it,
Oh, cool.
yeah, so then you-
Good.
Right.
Yes. And if I may interject,
Oh, sure.
this is first of all, it's a GMRS certified radio, which means you will need a GMRS license.
Okay.
I checked Amazon today, and they were selling a 2-pack for $38.
Oh, wow.
And it includes 2 radios, each with 2 antennas, the one that Michael refers to as a rubber ducky, and then also a whip antenna.
And so it comes with a whip antenna?
It comes with a whip as well, and it
Does it come
also
with a
has a
backup
charger.
battery? Does it come
No,
with a
no
backup?
backup battery. That's, and in fact, probably my only complaint about this one is this particular one only works if you have your charger base. Whereas if you buy, you can buy another battery
Is
that
that a
fits
good
this radio, and you can plug it in USB cable directly into it. You don't need a charging cradle whatsoever.
Right, is that a Midland, what is that?
No, this is about thing.
It is about, okay,
UV 5G Pro
right,
is
so
what
fine.
it's called.
And this is a 9, and that's why this one will get you this, so that's great, yeah, so you can sit and hold, if you can hang for a second, we can have.
Oh, yeah,
look at
that's
these.
Well, I believe in bigger is better. so
Yeah,
rather
We'll
than-
have a look, that's great, that's really good. So that's really good, I think, for, and the only reason why, the reason why we know this is because we participated in the shakeout.
Great shakeout.
And so since we participated in the great shakeout, then we were able to actually determine that we do have this ability,
Mhm.
which we are apparently happy to do. So that's
Right.
great.
And then, you have your monthly meetings, on Saturday, first of the month?
We have our radio poll
Uh-huh.
monthly. Our meeting is actually bi-monthly, our
Okay.
safety committee meeting, which is right on the
Okay.
heels of the radio poll. But yes, we have, so if you are interested in listening in, it's the first Saturday usually of every month, and it is at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And that's on channel 15.
Yes, I think.
And I believe that you have asked, is there anybody else who would like to identify themselves as being part of the listening audience? And that's when we said that we're there. Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful.
And it's handy if we don't ask for your address, we don't even ask for
Yeah.
your full name. But if you would at least give us like maybe the nearest intersection where we can get some sense for, okay, so how far are we reaching?
Uh-huh.
And one thing you do need to be aware of is not only do you have to worry about the weather down here, but unfortunately, the weather in outer space causes problems
Yes.
as well.
Solar flares.
Exactly, and when you get, it's called the KP, but it's the Earth's magnetic field. When it gets up to a level that's like 5, things get really dicey as far as communications. And so that's problematic. Murphy's Law would dictate we'd have an extra large earthquake during a solar flare.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, it's a given.
Or during, high tide, you know.
And during high
you know,
tide, yes.
King tides and full moon, the whole thing, yeah.
Yes, Mr. Murphy works over.
That's right,
Mhm.
absolutely. Well, thanks, this has been terrific. And when I created the agenda, I also put in here to tell the committee about mesh networks and have that way down on C, because I was just going to tell them what I have found out, which is not a lot of information, but I'd like to advance the next topic to talk about mesh networks. And so I looked on the internet, I talked to Randy Kohlers, I've talked to a lot of people about it. He was under the impression that the new telephones would have a mesh network in them already. He said he has a T-Mobile, and he said T-Mobile, which is the carrier, has it in there already, and then so do iPhones. So have you heard that?
I've got an iPhone 16, so not the latest one, but
But
Okay,
that goes to
it
satellite.
does not have.
It
okay.
doesn't have mesh, but it does go to network, it does go to satellite. in the
Yes, it goes to satellite, but of
Yeah.
course,
But it doesn't go to, and
Well,
my
maybe that's-
experience, T-Mobile doesn't go to mesh either, it
Maybe
goes to
he
satellite.
maybe I misunderstood, but that's what
or,
my notes were.
or possibly,
Uh-huh.
you communicate with the mesh
Yes.
radio using your iPhone. It doesn't need cellular coverage.
Okay, okay,
It uses Bluetooth to talk to it. This is a mesh radio. It's, I mean, you can put it in your shirt pocket.
Mhm.
But right now, it's useless because Bill Albright and I are the only 2 people that
That's
can
right.
talk to
Okay.
each
It
other.
requires, it
I shouldn't-
requires.
I shouldn't say talk, you can only text, that's the other thing
okay,
about mesh.
yes, that's what he mentioned, yeah.
It's what they call long range radio. And, this one is you can get it from, Amazon for about $50.
Okay,
And, once you get it set up on your phone, Bill and I have actually been quite successful in communicating around Little Whale Cove. But if we could convince everybody up and down the coast to start getting these, all of a sudden, we can actually extend our communication network. It's, in some respects, I mean, like when the hams talk, they use repeaters, like one up on Cape Foul, up on the mountain there. They use that, and that's how they can communicate greater distances, because all of these things they're line of sight.
Yeah.
Even a satellite phone is line of sight.
Yeah.
It's gotta see the satellite before it works. But the mesh is a little different in that the more people or the more installations that have they're called nodes. The more we have, the more we have a good chance of actually communicating.
yeah,
It literally is, you can visualize it as literally a mesh laying over coastal Oregon, where we all could send at least text messages to each
that's
other.
plenty,
Because it's not dependent upon the cell towers.
Absolutely, it only needs a cell phone.
It only needs a
To
cell
talk
phone,
to
so tell me how does it use your cell phone and not need the tower?
It just needs the cell phone and this radio talk to each other.
do you have to have them side by side?
Not absolutely right on top, but like the other day, I walked to one end of the house while this was at the other end of the house, and they stopped talking to each other.
Okay.
Because Bluetooth is usually about 30 feet or so,
Okay,
and that's assuming it can get through the wall. So,
right,
so they, but my phone's here in my belt, this is in my shirt pocket,
okay,
they talk to each other without any problem.
okay,
And the phone shows you all of the nodes that it can receive, and I suspect right now, I'm probably the only one on. But it's a great way I'd like to be able to show you what it would look like. Well, I have some old nodes that showed up, but I don't know if you can see it
Yeah,
from here,
so
but
it's
each
like
one of
that.
those dots
Mhm.
is a node.
Mhm.
The bad news is that 3 of them are me and 1 of them's Bill.
Right,
So
right.
I can talk to
Wow, that's
myself
impressive.
and I can talk to Bill.
So you guys talk about that it's a program that, it's a program, it's a network that you would like to see expand. Have you thought about talking with Patrick Hansen at Depoe Bay Fire?
No, I have not.
Do you know him?
I know of him, I do not know him personally.
So I do know him, and so if that would be, if you think about, if you really wanna take this to where you're trying to get people, the only way that's gonna work is if a lot of people buy it for $50.
Right,
Right, so if you, the next step would be to expand your network, and so if you want, an intro to, Patrick, and see what he would do, because to me, that would be, and then you could be his intro, do you know Jameson with CERT?
no,
Because then that would be, if you really are looking at getting this networked out, we can tell you who all the, and I'm sure you know them as well, but how you would network all the way up to
And not only
North
that,
Lincoln City.
It's about Lincoln County, have you?
Samantha?
Samantha.
And Samantha Buckley, you
Samantha
talked to,
Buckley.
We have that?
not about Mitch.
because she
Before
would
we
be,
before we got too carried away, we thought we ought to try to figure out if we can do it.
yeah,
Sure.
good idea. So that would be to me the next step, and I would imagine the mayor is, because I know you're very interested in this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think you've got the city's buy-in in wanting to be a part of it, and then we've already just finished talking about numbers. What is Michael Dane's buy-in? Is he?
Right now, he's still not sure because, I
Because it's so
don't think they have any yet or are not investing in
Yeah,
any
right,
yet.
because there's just not any, right.
Yeah, but for us.
It's an interesting rollout, actually.
Now, there is a unit that's about 100 that I have up in the, Crow's Nest, our comm center. It's not an optimal setup because I have the antenna too close to the glass. Apparently, that's not good. I'm not a radio expert, but it is completely self-contained. It is waterproof. It has a real antenna on it, and it has a solar panel. So what I had envisioned is, we could put some of these things out on poles up and down the coast. You can't go across the mountains, unless you have a tower up there somewhere with something like that. But that would take quite they call them long-range radios, but they're kidding, they're really not that long. You still need line of sight, so you'd have to envision a series of these things strung out along the hills.
But that's what you're thinking,
Yeah. Well, we are, but right now, I'd be happy if we could just communicate up and down the coast. And we still have, like you think of Cape Perpetua, that's a real blocker right there.
What's nice is that, all these communication ideas are out here, like satellite radio. I mean, this could, certainly go hand in hand with that, or even take its place one time, because your satellite radios are wonderful, but they're expensive. You have a monthly fee, and it's sort of like, okay, I have a monthly fee for 20 years and I haven't really needed it. And so what's the logic to that? So this is great. This is, I researched it and still a little confused, but this is helpful. Thank you. But I think that there's an audience out there for that, and we can, as a committee, can get together and determine how we can get the word out. But I think you're right, Deb. I think that Patrick Gams would be a first person to talk to.
And Patrick and Sam,
Yeah.
because then you've got the county and you've got fire, and then I think Jameson was certain to see what they would do.
Absolutely.
And then, because then now we're all the way up to.
What about our postcard? I wonder if they
Sure.
would be.
So I don't, okay, see, who,
Amber. Yeah,
great, because I have zero contact with the Coast Guard, so that
but
would
the
be-
city has.
Okay, that'd be great.
And I think with the city and the fire and
Right,
county, all.
yeah, have it, that would be, if you're trying to get it in hands, that's how you would, you know what I mean?
So, your idea is wonderful. I'm like, what? I hadn't heard of that, yeah. So that was really good. So what we can do is just talk about it, see how we can get the word out.
The more people, like I say, the more nodes we get set up, whether they're in the hands of people or whether they're up on poles.
Yeah,
But word of warning, they will, even the ones up on poles, waterproof or no, will still require some maintenance. It's just like sirens. Sirens don't work unless you service them, so that's going to get, will always present some problems. But if people have these in their pocket, we're well on our way to getting it even without something on a pole.
Well, you've already got your cell phone in your pocket, what's one more thing?
Sure.
You know, as far as that goes, yeah, so that's
I begin to
great.
feel a little like Batman on my belt these days, yes.
That's wonderful. Well, this is terrific. Thank you so much. And this is lovely, what you presented. It's very, very nice. And, you know, we keep saying, well, Depoe really knows what they're doing. It's very apparent that you spend a lot of time and effort, the program that you have.
Well, we're pleased with it, but you know what? There's always room for improvement.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
You are welcome.
Any questions online or anybody have a question? Anybody in the audience? Okay. Thank you. You're welcome to stay as long as you'd like.
Now, we're hoping he stays because we want to talk about radios for a minute after the meeting.
About what?
Sure.
There's some of us that want to talk
That's
about
right.
specific
Okay.
radios after the meeting, so we really are hoping you can hang for a minute.
So thank you. All right. So I don't have a whole lot of discussion with the rest of the agenda. I just wanted to let you guys know some information about what I've been able to find out. So with anchor storage, we had talked about how are we going to get into these units? How in the world are we going to do that? And so I talked to Cassidy Boyle with Lincoln City because I know that and they have a lot of containers and what have you, and asked her about it, and she said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong topic, anchor storage, so that would be Brianna. So we talked about how in the world are we going to get into our storage unit.
Right.
And she says, if the electricity goes out, you just open the door, it just rolls.
Oh,
like
so
that.
when the power's out,
Mhm.
the gate just rolls.
That's right, and she said there is a radio, and so what they would appreciate is trying to at least reach anchor storage and say, okay, this is unit 12, and we want to, we're trying to get in, the electricity's out, try to communicate with them, if not, just open the door. But
Got
she says it's just that simple.
Excellent,
Mhm.
that's good to know.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. And so then with Cassidy Boyle talking about the locks, and she said they have the same problem. And so what we were concerned about was we have caches, and so you have these almost impossible ways to get into our storage unit. You have these old locks, they're all rusty, just decrepit. And she said they have the same problem, they just have a monthly person that goes around and uses WD-40. And so then I did some research. I have information for Brady, which is our Public Works Director. There's some that are called grade outdoor locks, and so I have some information. But I want to get his opinion as to if that would be a better lock. And as you look here, there's some of them that are long, and because we're trying to figure out how to cut them to get into our cache. And there's some that
Why are we using what they're using a OHSU, the number?
we can do that. Yeah, I have some information here as well.
That would be so much
The
easier.
digital. So, yes, I have a lot of information. Let me talk about something like that, yeah. And so,
What
yeah,
powers digital? Is it a battery? What powers it?
what our locks currently?
What powers the digital lock? Does anybody know?
Now,
Is it digital or just
It's
combination?
just a combination.
Okay, so it's just a combination, okay, gotcha, so there's nothing to, and is that what's on the anchor
No.
storage?
no, they're all keyed.
They're all keyed, okay,
They
gotcha.
work.
So we're looking at something that's all perfect, excellent, great.
So
I just
anyway,
didn't want something that's gonna have to be battery.
So we realized we have Cassidy really didn't have any information, so I went ahead and did some research. So I'm gonna show this to Brady to see what he likes, because if we have an instance, we wanna get into our storage unit, and what's the best way to do it. But that was a good example when we were when we inventoried everything we had, and realized, oh gee, how in the world do we get into them? There's a key over here, there's a key over there. You know, so we have to first of all find the key, and there's just gotta be a better way to do it. So I like the combination really well.
Yeah, sounds good.
Mesh network, that was next, we talked about that. And larger capacity radios for some emergency barrel holders.
And we're gonna talk about that after the meeting.
Okay, alrighty. And then, and I talked to Brady about this, how to dispose of the Depoe Bay Fire District metal building. And he said just to call Michael Gans. I'll be happy to do that, but do I have the authority to do that?
Patrick,
Patrick? Patrick, what did I say?
Michael.
Yeah, there's so many Michaels, so sorry. Patrick Gans. So do you want me to do that? Is that okay, or is that something that Brady should do, or?
No idea. It's just a rusted leaky.
We
mess
just
right
need
now.
to, we just need to figure out if they want it, they
Right.
can get it. And if not, can we sell the metal or do something with it? So, would that be a town question, Kathy?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask him about that.
Yeah, okay.
Because we realize that we do need to get that off the
Yeah.
parking lot. And, just to let you know, I did a 4.5 hour training session for Be 2 Weeks Ready, because I'm going to go to Walport and give the program this Saturday. And the 4.5 hours was basically the booklet that you have, the blue booklet. So it was interesting to do that. So I feel like I'm prepared for that. So Stonebridge update. So Kim's not with us. Karen, can you give us some type of update?
She just told us that she has an update coming. I don't know what.
Okay,
kind of
all right.
Details. about it.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. And then, we also need to schedule emergency barrel audits. We talked about auditing them every 6 months. And so the majority of them were delivered in October. So
So I have a list actually.
okay.
So the first, community center's the first one, it was the one put in May.
Mhm.
This was the only one that's due, none of the others are due yet,
Okay,
but they will be up to first year.
okay, first, okay,
Right.
all right. I just want to make sure we're on top of that.
Yeah, Ron, it's right here.
Okay, because we need to do that when it's appropriate. And
Do we
then-
wanna do the community center one?
it's
I mean,
never been into, nobody's
Community
ever
center.
been, nobody's touched it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
so we're good.
secure,
Okay, then we're good, okay, great,
nobody has had that.
great, we just wanted to, just, it was the first one. that was put in.
Yeah, and it's actually nice to have there, you know, to,
Oh, no, it's smart to have.
yeah, I think it is, I really do.
Right, so that's where people are gonna head,
Mhm.
as long as they are good swimmers. Sorry, that was a little under the. Just kind of how I feel about it.
So that's all for old business, and so for new business, Be 2 Weeks Ready program, once again, we've talked about, you know, as I was going through that training, I would love to give those in smaller groups, not just a big group, because we realize that we're gonna try something else to have more people attend. And I thought, well, we had talked about having, little smaller groups for macro neighborhood type of activities. What do you think about combining that? Is that too much? So if we have your neighbor, you have a smaller group, and can we do both, or is that just too much?
What's the other thing you were comparing?
Macro neighborhood, as to how to, who has skills that we can use during an emergency.
Right, I think it would happen at the same time.
That's one thing.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, it makes sense to me, it gives them,
Mhm.
it's actually a topic, it's
Because we,
like a game, like, it's like, okay, so what do you, I mean, it's just one more way to connect. It's like,
Well, I
so
thought
what
so
are you
too.
retired, or
Yeah.
what do you do, or what do you do during the day? or what do
because,
you
you know, the program's talking about, you know, storing water, to-go bags, food,
Yeah.
all the stuff that we're gonna be talking about anyway.
do? Right,
But if we have these smaller groups, I'd like to start one, like in the first of the year. I think we could combine the two, because it seems like it's combinable.
so what I found is when I mapped near the bay, so I found people to be much more receptive to answering the question if I didn't say, so what is it you can offer? Which would be me
Mhm.
asking. But then I learned I couldn't ask quite like that it would be like, okay, so, you know, so tell me about before, and, oh, you were in, oh, so you were a woodworker? Oh, so then, and then conversations evolved into, well, sure, I could do something like that. Because everybody's first gut is when you say, so what will you be able to offer? It's like, oh, I don't have any skills, I'm not a doctor or anything. When you really, I'm just so lucky that across the street I have a woodworker and I know he's gonna make something I can sleep in out of the rubble of my house and I couldn't be happier. So, because
But you know, people have skills.
they don't even realize,
They-
and so
I know.
you're sitting having a discussion and they'd be like, well, you do this, or you organize people, or you get everybody to come over here, they just people just don't. And the way to have that is in those conversations where we're sitting around having a potluck, and then that's when we can map them
That's when we
without
can-
realizing that
Because
they've been mapped.
if you have that blue book, that's really all you need.
Right,
I mean,
right.
it's just wonderful,
Right.
it's wonderful. And, I just thought it would be a good idea
Yeah,
to combine
great.
the two.
Yeah, I think it's a natural.
I do too. Okay, so we'll talk about that. And so, public comments, here's our public. Any comments? Any suggestions, comments? How about online? Do we have anyone online? Okay, sounds good. All right.
I was just gonna say that it'd be great to know, like in my neighborhood, how many guys and gals have chainsaws?
I know.
I mean, first thing when I moved in 7 years ago, neighbor Paul says, oh, by the way, I have all these tools. And in this shed is like this porta power thing that we could lift a tree off of a house. And
Right,
so
that's
you're
right.
kidding me, and here's all this plastic. And we
Right.
just went out last week and bought a couple tarps that are large enough to cover a good portion of the house at the roof.
I agree with you, yeah.
Yeah.
And like, when we had the power outage, he has a generator who has skills to survive this.
Well, now we have an extra generator because we have a whole house generator.
Yeah. Yeah, so you just kind of learn, but the people have skills, you don't have to be a doctor, you can be,
Right.
Some type of medical, experience, or, carpenters, you're gonna need
Mhm.
carpenters, you're gonna need, managers, you're gonna need a lot of different skills. So-
One that I hadn't really thought of that came up with the second training on that was that someone who's trained in mental health or counseling.
Yes,
For those who are emotionally traumatized and just
Yes.
paralyzed by what's going on, is so to be able to figure out those that are good with people as well.
that's wonderful, yeah, absolutely, because everyone has skills,
Yeah.
just have to figure it out, what have you. But, so that's something we're gonna be working on. We thought that we would just do smaller groups, and just more intimate, and do it by neighborhood, so that would be something we're looking at. Okay, so our meeting is adjourned. Any comments from,
And the next one is.
This one is December 8th.
Thanks.
Is everybody gonna be?
I know how to look at it.
Everyone gonna be in town, I hope? Okay, sounds good. Meeting over, and then Deb, you want to?
Yeah, so you guys, let's talk radios and let's use this space right here.